When I first heard about Liz and the Bluebird, I thought it was cool that Sound Euphonium was getting what would be the first of two feature films that take place after the initial series. I'm a mild fan of the franchise's first two seasons and was looking forward to seeing what Kyoto Animation could do with the property given the production timeline and the budget of the movie. The studio did wonderful work with the two other films that I've seen, The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya and A Silent Voice. Both of those movies were rock solid in their animation, writing, and voice acting, and gave me a high opinion of the studio's ability to make movies. Even though neither of them rose higher than an 8 out of 10 for me, I was still left with decent-sized expectations for Liz and the Bluebird and waited with some excitement for it to come out. My interest was also perked whenever I heard that the movie wouldn't focus on the main cast, but two supporting characters instead, Nozomi Kasaki and Misaru Urazuka. That, while important in the second season of the show, hadn't really been given the lead over the likes of Reika and Kumiko before. I had personally thought the two had been interesting characters in the TV series and was curious how they would do in their own film. I went a good while expecting Liz and the Bluebird to reach the heights of the original series and the two Kyoto animation movies I had previously encountered. A solid 7-8 of the movie with the potential to rise to a 9 out of 10. And then the movie released and I began to hear amazing things about it and heard people proclaiming it to be a masterpiece. Funnily enough though, this didn't really raise my expectations of it. I had previously heard the same things about Disappearance and A Silent Voice, and neither of those two films reached the same heights for me. Don't get me wrong, as I previously stated, I really liked those movies and they fed into my expectations of Liz a lot. They just hadn't hit me the same way they had other people. So I was left expecting this movie to bear out the same end result. And then I started to see animated GIFs of the movie and began to wonder if that would really still be the case, as the intricate details in the animation left me speechless and made me want to see the movie the second that I could. And then I did. I want anybody watching this video who hasn't seen Liz and the Bluebird yet to go into it without any spoilers aside from the context of this videos and pictures from the movie. So I'll do my best to keep things vague while covering enough to do an actual review. I will say, however, what this movie isn't. It's not some grand epic with the fate of the world on the line. It's not a boisterous action movie with thrilling fight scenes. It's not some complex deconstruction of an entire genre. What it is, however, is a simple story that covers the relationship between two people in a single setting. It's a story that is told in the most beautiful way possible. You are given insight into how each character thinks, not with internal monologues that explain exactly how both of them are feeling, though they do talk about how they are feeling to other people, but instead through stunningly drawn body language that gives you a window into each character's minds. It leaves it up to you how to interpret each motion of a character's frame to try and pick up what they are thinking about and their current mental state. Each frame of animation is important to understanding the story and how the characters feel. The movie requires you to pay attention, and I absolutely love it for that. It goes all in on this and is all the better for it. You understand a character is reaching a realization about themselves or is undergoing severe internal stress without them needing to tell you. Kyoto Animation really went above and beyond in the animation for this film, and without this, it would not be as strong a movie, and its story would be nowhere near as effective. That's not to say that the writing itself is bad, however. Far from it, as each line of dialogue fulfills its purposes of advancing the character's arcs, providing necessary context, supplying ample amounts of moments that are both cute and funny, and just generally creates characters that come to life and who have deeply enriching relationships with each other. Whether it's a dramatic or charming scene, the writer did a wonderful job of weaving an enthralling tale full of enchanting characters. Every conversation between these characters is filled with the right amount of strife and joy, and helps to work in perfect sync with the stunning character animations and keeps them from going to waste. No matter the location or moment in this movie, everything fulfilled its purpose and keeps the movie churning along at a wonderful pace. The voice cast of the original series also returns and helps to bring the dialogue to life and gives even further depth to the film. Whether it be the reserved, hesitant, and fearful performance of Atsumi Tanizaki as Mizori, or the fun-loving, energetic, and deeply emotional acting of Naoto Omi as Nozomi, the voice actors bring their A game and take the film to an even greater height. Oh yeah, and it's still Sound Euphonium, so the music is still pretty freaking fantastic and plays a deep part in the climax of the movie, and it's really, really satisfying. Going into Liz and the Bluebird, I had medium-ish expectations for it, but those started to rise as I kept seeing more about it in the last month. And after finally seeing the movie, I have to say, I don't know if I could ever have had expectations that this movie wouldn't have just smashed right through, as it entrapped me with its jaw-dropping animations, emotional and enriching storytelling, and engaging soundtrack. I could just gush about this masterpiece for hours on end, and I plan to. This is just a spoiler-free review for those who haven't seen Liz. And if you can't tell already that I like this movie, let me just say it's become my favorite movie with relative ease, and I strongly urge you to see it at your earliest convenience. It's a decision that you won't regret.